So, I don't know about you guys, but I love watching those restoration videos on YouTube. I mean, who doesn't love watching an expert fix a broken thing? It's so satisfying, and I don't have to do any work. I just sit back, relax, and watch this guy do all the work while I get all the satisfaction as if I did it. It makes me feel like I'm actually doing something useful with my life.
I am so good at this.
I thought that I would fix something myself too. I mean, how hard could it be? I think this is what I need to fix. So instead of, putting a game in and making sure that everything works, the first thing that I'll do is just tear this thing right open. You need to have a special screwdriver for these special tri-wing screws. There are 6 screws in total you have to unscrew, but I didn't show them all because that would be super boring. Now that we've ripped it open, we can see how cool this technology is. How exciting. After I open it up, I'll prepare a nice warm bath with soap and water for the case. So, if you couldn't tell by this giant fucking burn mark, I think that there's a problem with this Game Boy screen. I think that this is a problem with just the polarizer instead of the whole screen for two big reasons. The first is because this is actually a fairly common issue with old Game Boys. I don't really know the specifics, but heat, moisture, and UV rays from the sun all degrade the quality of the film. And two, a polarizer costs 50 cents and a whole screen replacement is like $40. And I just don't have the money for that. Luckily, I always keep some polarizers next to the peanut butter in the fridge since they are a really nice low calorie snack that helps me keep my figure slim. In order to replace the polarizer, you start by taking off the old one with an X-Acto knife like so. Try not to hurt your finger, or more importantly, the screen. Once you peel off enough to get a nice grip on it, you can just go ahead and peel the whole thing right off. You can see right now, I was just pulling it to make sure it's grippy enough. And here's me just pulling it off. It's a bit of a struggle at first, but it's not too bad once you get it started. Now, you might see this and think that the screen is cracked, but it's not. This is all glue that we need to scrub off. All you need to do is just spray with a bunch of alcohol and wait. Then you scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub. How exciting. This is how it looked after a few minutes of good scrubbing. This is how it looked after 2 hours of scrubbing. Granted, like an hour of this was just spraying it with a whole bunch of alcohol and just waiting, but damn, that is still such a long time. Alright, so before we put the new polarizer in, let's check in on the case now that it's all done with its bath. Let's take it out, shake it off, and let's leave it out to dry for a few minutes. And when we put it back together, you can see that this looks really good. This really smooth, and it just feels so nice. Anyway, I also cleaned the button contacts. Here is the before, and here's the after. Now it is time to put the new polarizer on. What you want to do is assemble the Game Boy so that the screen is sticking out like this. Don't need to actually screw anything in, you can just place it there. Now I put in my batteries, and my 100% real copy of Pokemon Crystal, and turn it on. Now we need to put this polarizer in. So the Game Boy is actually on right now, but nothing will show on the screen until the polarizer is oriented in the right direction. Cut it using the same scissors that I used to trim my ball hairs, take the adhesive off, and put it on. I don't know if pressing it with a Q-tip does anything, but all the other videos I saw was doing this, so I did it too. Here we go. You can actually see what the Game Boy's showing. There's a couple of air bubbles, but it's nothing too crazy. Now it's time to put everything back together. First, put the screen back here, it should stick on its own. Next, put all the buttons back in except for the start and select buttons. And don't forget the rubber contacts. The buttons won't work if you forget these. Screw the board in with the 3 screws. Now put the power button back in. Put together the other side of the case and screw it all together. You want to turn it over and realize you forgot to put in the start and select buttons. Just completely undo everything you just did. And then just put those 2 buttons back in. Completely put everything back together again. So I don't have a battery cover of the same color, but this black one will be fine. So I had a joke planned for this, but I forget what it was. I don't know why I was just wagging my finger. And I don't know why the mask was on this Game Boy. And I don't know why I did it again. It's been a rough few months. I'm sorry. So when you put it all back together, it should look like this. Let's put the game in and see if it works. So this looks good, and it works just like new, except for the fact that a part of the bottom just doesn't show up. I have no idea what caused this. I thought I did everything right, but I guess I must have messed something up. I did take the polarizer off camera, so I could have messed it up there, but regardless, this works good enough, which is exactly what I strive for. So I did compare the size of the cutout compared to the original polarizer, and the cutout looks slightly smaller, but I don't really know if that would make a difference. But yeah, that's about it. See ya.